A couple weeks ago, I put out a video showing a day of life in Los Angeles, including short interviews with two locals, so you'd get more than just my take on living in LA. What follows is the full interview with Manish Goyal, a filmmaker and tech founder who's lived in some of the best cities in the country, Boston, San Francisco, and Austin, but who ultimately chose to make Los Angeles his home. Manish shares why LA is such a unique city for people who want to create something, whether it's a film, a software company, or a community, and he shares what keeps him here. If you're new here, I'm Tony, a local realtor who makes videos about Los Angeles real estate and what it's like living here. With that, let's go. So Manish, you've lived in a lot of different cities. Really, some of the best cities in the country.
Yes.
Fun places. Can you give me a rundown of where you lived?
A lot. So I grew up in Atlanta.
Yep.
Went to college in Boston. So I did a lot of time between Boston and Cambridge, Mass. I've lived in San Francisco, Austin, Texas, New York, and then back to Boston, and then finally settled in LA.
Right. Okay. So why did you move to LA after all that? You've seen a lot, experienced a lot. So why'd you come here?
I wanted to take a break from technology, and I've always had a passion for filmmaking. So I actually came to LA to make movies for the same reason that a lot of people come here.
The break from technology. Let's put a pin in that one and
Sure.
get back to it.
Okay.
So given those awesome places, I love all those towns you just mentioned. What makes LA really different?
Well, for me personally, it's the people and the industries and everybody is that I'm connected to here. They've come here to try to accomplish something with their lives that is really meaningful to them personally. So like I said, I came out here to make movies. LA is a great place for that for obvious reason. You can connect with writers, directors, producers, DPs, all the above. But then when I got back into tech, I realized LA is a great scene for that too. Startup culture, entrepreneurship, VC to fund it, and a lot of reasons why people in those industries live here in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people understand how much tech there is here. You've got aerospace and heavy tech, but then there's also things like MySpace and Snap and more consumer, like I would almost say like entertainment tech.
Sure. There's a ton of technology in LA. LA is a consumer lifestyle hub.
Right.
As a result, many consumer brands start right here in LA. It combines entertainment with fashion, health and fitness, lifestyle, music. So a lot of consumer-facing brands are born right here in LA. So therefore, there's a lot of investment that comes to LA as a result. Now, the proximity to the Bay Area and Silicon Valley means that there's a lot of venture capital that flows into LA. And then eventually what started to happen was people from the Bay Area started to move here for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned, lifestyle, weather, right? But also a lot of the entrepreneurs that came to LA through school decided they'll just stay here and start companies instead of moving out. So now there's a massive venture capital community here in LA. In fact, I would say in terms of capital that gets deployed, it's usually Silicon Valley number one by far, New York number two, and then LA and Boston trade places. Yeah. So it's right there, number three or number four in terms of venture capital being deployed. So there's no shortage of tech, VC, entrepreneurship right here in LA.
So Manish is founder and CEO of FriendBuy, which powers referral programs and loyalty programs for e-commerce companies. So the nexus of what Manish is doing with the strong consumer brand presence here, especially, what am I looking for? Especially brands that sell a lot online, which is really the forte of what you build.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So I've worked with Manish for I think 4.5 years. When I came on board, Manish was bringing in really amazing local brands like Dollar Shave Club. Who else were the early? Oh, MeUndies was local.
Dollar Shave Club, MeUndies, The Honest Company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really great early adopter brands.
Yeah. So as far as getting traction, like it was the right software product in the right town.
I was in the right place. There were a lot of brands that were emerging right here. And then my VC connections here knew all the right people in New York that had great fashion brands. So it was really easy for me to go to New York and meet brands just because I was connected to those same people here in LA. I mean, it was a very natural way for me to enter e-commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And e-commerce was growing like mad at the time too. So catching
Yes.
the right market, starting in the right city, like there were a lot of forces that aligned. Not that it was easy, because it was not easy.
No.
It was
Yeah.
kind of brutal at some points.
Yeah.
But the company is totally crushing now. So you run a very successful tech company.
Thank
You've
you.
also made films.
Yes.
Do you think that creative mix is something that's unique to LA?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's no question. I've met a lot of people here in LA who start in one and go into the other. So clearly, LA has a draw on folks who are both entrepreneurial,
Okay.
but also they're drawn to the creative culture of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Whether it's the fashion industry, the music industry, the entertainment industry. So what you end up seeing are people that bridge those industries to start new companies. So there's no question that LA is a great place if you are both entrepreneurial and you're looking to get into one of those industries like entertainment, fashion, music, etc.
And I love being around people that are going for it. Like people putting their foot on the gas,
Yeah.
taking some chances, and building something.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
you can swing a dead cat in LA and find somebody making something.
I've never tried that. But definitely, for different reasons, cities like New York, San Francisco, and LA, they draw on people that are looking to launch themselves into something that they want to create.
Yeah,
And that's very much the case here in Los Angeles.
I agree 100%. So, was there a moment when you realized, like LA works for me?
I realized LA works for me when I look back on, wow, I've been here so many years and I haven't moved like I have in every other city that I've lived in, where I felt the need to leave. I was like, I guess LA works for me.
Well, so what keeps you around then?
Honestly, it's the people that I get to collaborate with, the work that I get to do. I really enjoy the city, so I have a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of lifestyle and the industries, and it's just a great place to be. I don't know how to pin it down other than that, man.
Do you think there's any other city where you could do tech and making films, producing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think you could do it in New York.
Okay.
I definitely think you could do it in New
Yeah,
York.
I can see that.
It's possible in some other cities because filmmaking is becoming more global. A lot of governments are investing in tax incentives to create a film culture. But the thing is, LA is still LA. It's still Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, people come here to learn filmmaking. People come here and then maybe they kind of film somewhere else and then they come back here to collaborate. This is still the place if you want to be. If you want to be in Hollywood, this is still the place. But if you're entrepreneurial, you kind of got to pick the place where your probability of success is highest.
Well, yeah, you got to be in it. You got to be in the mix.
That's right.
You got to
You
be
gotta
able
be
to
in
meet
it.
people, go to meetings.
That's right. I think the more interesting question for me was when I decided to get into tech, back into tech, right? So when I decided to get back into tech, why did I stay?
Yeah.
Because when I decided to get back into tech, I could have easily made the decision to go to New York or to Silicon Valley. But it was so obvious that everything I needed was right here. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how easy it was to get back into connecting with VCs and then working with e-commerce being in LA. I did not feel like I missed a beat from my tech-heavy days in Silicon Valley and other cities.
So, I lived in San Francisco too. I've been somewhat keeping track of what's been going on there since I left after the .com crash.
Right.
But I can't think of really a lot of e-commerce brands up there. Like to me, New York and LA make a lot of sense for what FriendBuy does.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, consumer brands definitely start out of Silicon Valley. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
it may not be the best examples, but I'm thinking of.
And NatureBox. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, NatureBox started out there. Juicero, I think, may have started out there.
Right.
I don't know, the blood sample company. I don't know.
Oh, the woman that.
Yes, the one who's in jail now.
God, what are
I'm
you-
sorry. I'm sorry.
What's her name? Elizabeth something?
Holmes.
Elizabeth
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes. The story is called. I guess I'm only remembering the ones that became infamous, but
Right.
there's no shortage of consumer brands that have started in LA. In fact, I'm just thinking now of
Well, even
yeah.
pre-e-commerce, like we went and we met with Guess, and I think before that meeting, I didn't even know the Guess was in LA.
Guess is in LA. Guess predates e-commerce.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess has been here because LA has the fashion district.
Yeah.
LA has the garment district. LA has the port of LA, which makes manufacturing make sense here. So fashion has been huge in LA for decades, long before e-commerce.
What do you think people most misunderstand about LA? The look on your face is just told the story.
It's a great question. Look, first and foremost, I don't spend a lot of time listening to those people.
Yeah.
Okay. But every now and then, maybe I'll hear the sentiment of, oh, you live in LA. Aren't the people there superficial? Or isn't it just like really fake? Or, I don't know, it's just all highways and concrete. I mean,
Yeah, the concrete jungle bit.
right? Like, again, I don't spend a lot of time entertaining those conversations, but every now and then you'll hear something like that. And I would say that these are all just incredible misconceptions.
Yeah.
First of all, when it comes to the variety of what you can get here in terms of lifestyle, it's absolutely amazing. I don't do as much exploring as I should, but I know that you've got beaches and mountains and hiking trails and natural beauty. I mean, I was driving on Sunset one night, late at night, and I was like, is that a motorcycle coming at me? Because I saw these bright lights, and it was a deer
Yeah.
in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
right? I was like, what is going on?
The first time I saw a deer when I was hiking up Beechwood Canyon, I thought I was in some weird movie, like a David Lynch film. Like, what in the wide world of sports is going on?
Exactly. And I remember going hiking with you one time, and I saw a snake.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And these are like some of my early experiences really just kind of opening me up. I remember I took my mom around all over LA one time, and we went up to Malibu, and she was blown away by the mountainous terrain. She was like, this is absolutely incredible. Can we drive here? Can we drive there? And then we would drive, and then we would look at the views of all the oceanfront properties. I mean, it was stunning. So that's just topology and microclimates. I mean, there's so much going on. But I want to get back to the statement about the people.
Yeah.
Because I have great friends here.
Yeah.
Great friends. People who moved here because they are trying to do something. They really believe in what they want to pursue in their lives. That's me. So I found my tribe.
Yeah, I love being around people who are stepping on the gas, just going for it.
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
everybody, whether you're an entrepreneur starting a company or you're even an actor or an actress, everybody's striving for something. And
You get a lot of that here. Look, again, all the great cities in America, and America has many, many great cities, you'll find people who move there because they're trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
That's the DNA of someone that I can bond with, no matter what their field of pursuit happens to be. And so for me, when I moved to Silicon Valley, it was because I was hardcore in the tech scene.
Yeah.
When I wanted to learn engineering, I moved to Boston and I went to MIT.
Yeah.
When I wanted to try my hand at theater, I went to New York. And when I wanted to expand my horizons, both in tech, but also a city that had a lot of culture, I moved to Austin, Texas, which has an amazing film culture as well as an amazing music scene.
Yeah.
So all of these great cities, they draw on people. LA just happens to be a city that draws on people for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So many different reasons. And that's what makes the city so vibrant, and that's what I enjoy about it.
There are as many versions of LA as there are people in LA. Okay, so at the top, I mentioned something about put a pin in it because we were talking about Manish doing tech and filmmaking.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to say.
Yeah, so I mean, what keeps me here, honestly, the dream is still the dream. When I started my company, I had made 3 films.
Yeah.
I produced 2 short films and a feature film, all very low budget. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was such an experience. I got to work with amazing people. A lot of them have gone on to do amazing things. I came here to make movies.
Yeah.
And I actually got 3 films made.
Yep.
It was amazing. I didn't know anybody in the industry.
And
I showed up and
when you did one of them,
yeah.
I knew about it because it went viral.
Oh,
Before,
right.
That's
That's right.
Even tell, I don't think you told me or Amit that it was like,
My first short film, before viral was a word, and before you could even have 12 minutes of video on YouTube. So we would have had to cut it up. We had it on our own website.
yeah.
It went viral.
Is this still live?
Now we were able to put it on YouTube. It's called Call Center.
Yeah,
So if you look up Call Center, the movie, yeah, you'll see it.
Manish and I went to a meeting at a very large e-commerce company, and VP or SVP.
It was Guess.
Guess. It was Guess.
It was Guess.
You were Guess, and I don't know if it's VP or SVP. We sat down to, fired up our laptops, going to do our presentation. He's like, "Didn't you do Call Center?"
He was like, "Give me some lines." He wanted me to give him lines. Only in LA.
Now, in the Malcolm Gladwell sense, like you're a connector in terms of people in 2 separate industries. Like you got a big Rolodex, man. I mean, if the kids know what how Rolodex is.
I appreciate you saying that. Maybe it doesn't feel like that to me, but. Yeah, when I made my 3 films, I absolutely loved it. I got to work with great people. They've gone on to do amazing things. And I just felt like for me to make movies the way I wanted to, I needed to bring more leverage to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe now I should go start another company. And I could hopefully someday get it to the point where I can make movies for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so, that is really what has kept me in LA, in addition to all the things that I enjoy about being here, the people, the restaurant scene, the proximity to great neighborhoods, and all the other things that I enjoy doing, like on the weekends, hanging out like this. That's the reason I stay in LA. And then when I did start my company, I was very pleasantly surprised by how the tech scene had really emerged here. So I didn't feel like I was missing out at all.
When I lived in the Bay Area in the late '90s doing the startup thing, LA was kind of like it's kind of like a backwater, kind of like whatever. And it was my sales territory. And when I moved, or I kept it coming down here every 2 weeks to meet with the studios and do the digital marketing thing, I met really cool people. The meetings were always laid back. People always like, hey, after the meeting, like, hey, let's go grab a beer, which doesn't really happen in San Francisco. It's not friendly like that.
Sure.
And the weather and the vibes here is what brought me here.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got here, I realized it's not like, my San Francisco provincial attitude was corrected when I got here. Like, there's a ton of people doing tech stuff here that are going for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this was in 1999, 2000. I don't know how people think about it now, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my friends are in tech in LA.
If anyone is thinking about moving to LA, what I would advise is spend a little time here.
Yeah.
Just come out here and spend a little time. That's what I did.
All right, Manish.
Devin.
Thank you. I think people are going to get something out of this big time. I've been giving my perspective on my channel, but now they get to hear yours. And later today, we're going to meet with Jeff.
Yeah.
And thanks.
Hey, it was my pleasure. I hope somebody got something useful out of it. I've enjoyed LA. I really love it here. And if anybody's thinking about making the move, the best thing you can do is come out and check it out.
Over lunch, Manish and I covered a lot about what makes LA unique, including the depth of the creative and tech scenes, rich with opportunities for people who want to build something. But there's another important thing that can make or break your experience here. So check out this deep dive where I'll show you what it is and how you can make living in LA the best experience ever. If you're making the move to LA, it's good to work with insiders. My team and I would love to help. Just call, email, or text to get started. I'm Tony Mariotti. See you in the next video.